All right, we'll move on to Coach Chinander. And first up is Brian Christopherson, 24/7 Sports.
Hey Eric, hope you're doing well. I was going to ask about the outside linebackers. Who uh, who are the main three or four guys that you think you've got going into this opener? How's that kind of sorted itself out?
I think there's some a lot of different faces probably going to play depending on packages. We've got a few guys that can go in are better in different situations right now. But you got JoJo Doman, Caleb Tanner, Garrett Nelson, Feldarius Payne. Nick Henrich has been taking some reps in and out of that position, and Nico Cooper are probably the top guys right now.
How much have they climbed, or what progress have you seen from them in this short period of camp time that you've had?
I think there's been a ton of progress, and they're doing a lot of different things within the defense. When we're rotating from base and nickel, playing some more true outside backer, and then shifting to more of a defensive end role when we get into four down spacing. So they've done a lot. They've progressed a lot. I think their understanding of what they're trying to do is getting better and better each day, and their pass rush is getting better.
Thank you.
Jacob Bartecki, Karen, you go ahead.
Hey, Coach. I wanted to ask you, I heard what sounded like some rumblings of crowd noise being used at practice or at Memorial Stadium today. And I just kind of wanted to get your take on how you're preparing for games with crowd noise and obviously no fans are in the stadium and how that's going to just affect or change what you're doing defensively.
I don't think the noise ever changes what you're doing offensive or defensively, other than, you can probably communicate a little better from the sideline and out on the field. The big deal in the NFL is stealing signals and that kind of thing. But I think, the coaches in this league are good enough as they are in the NFL. They're going to keep changing those up, so you can't get a beat on those types of things. The crowd noise, we always have noise at practice, whether it be crowd noise or music or whatever. And I guess the Big Ten has set a decibel limit for what you can play in the stadium at what times. And I think that our guys are practicing that a little bit for our games and giving our guys a little taste of what it's going to be like.
Husker Online, Sean Callahan.
Hey, Coach, I was curious with the travel roster for week one, how challenging is that? Because you have everybody available, no red shirts this year, just to kind of whittle it down and figure out a 74-man travel roster for a season opener.
Yeah, I think it's hard, I guess, but it's not that much harder. There's the fine line now between, sometimes you used to take a few extra guys that you thought were going to help you in the future so they could see what road games were supposed to be like and those types of things. But now with no red shirts, they're not going to take the year of eligibility away. It's, the guys that are going to play in the game, and those guys are obviously the most important. You have more of those guys to use, so you could use some of those red shirt guys on special teams and not worry about running them down just on kickoff. That's always the scare before is, are you just going to run them down on kickoff and that's going to blow their redshirt year? Well, now you can use everybody. So everybody that's in the two deep on any special team or defense or offense has to travel right now, and then the others get picked from what's left.
Lincoln Journal star Parker Gabriel.
Hey Eric, I know that Nick Henrich has dealt with some injury stuff since he's been in college and all of that, but what has allowed him to not only put himself in a position to play, but to, get reps at a couple of different positions and be in a position to maybe make an impact early in his career?
Yeah, I think first off, he's a smart kid that can take coaching, and just overall, he's a football player. No matter where you put him, what position you're going to put him in, he's a football player. He understands spacing. He understands leverage. He understands assignment. And he's a tough kid, and he loves Nebraska first and foremost. He loves the game of football, so he's going to do whatever he has to do to get on the field, whether that's learn a new position midweek or study it from the day he got here. But I just think he's a football player, and he needs to be on the field somewhere.
Three more. Derek Peterson, Hale Varsity.
Hey, Eric, you talked about Caleb Tanner in the spring as a guy that you wanted to see kind of take that next step. What kind of camp has he had? And do you feel like he's taking that step, or do you feel like there's some space still for him to grow?
Oh, there's definitely space for him to grow. I don't think you ever stop growing, especially in college football. Even the best guys, I think, Justin Fields, for example. I think the world of him. I think he's an unbelievable quarterback. I'm sure Coach Day would say he's got room to grow. So I think there's always room to grow for every football player. Caleb is closing the gap, if you will, on where he was last year to where he needs to be. That gap is closing, but there's always room to grow. And I know Coach Dawson's going to push him every single day to get better and better and better until he's one of those top guys in the country, which I think he has the ability to be.
From the Athletic, Mitch Sherman.
Hey, Eric. Understanding that this is not a normal week one in terms of your schedule to get here or the opponent you're playing, what are your thoughts in general based on experience over the years about the way a defense has progressed before the opener in comparison to an offense? Are defenses, have you found, generally ahead, or what do you think?
Yeah, I think when you start training camp, probably, the defense is usually a little ahead of the offense just because there's so much timing aspect on offense and guys getting in sync. But, usually during the season, you get out there and you play and you don't exactly know what the offense is going to do. And then by the time you start the conference schedule, you have 3 or 4 games on those guys. So you have a decent game plan together and you kind of have a little bit of an idea what they're going to do. This game, they're going to come out and they have really good personnel, and they could have a lot of wrinkles in this scheme for game one. So we got to be ready for everything. I think that's always the issue when you play a first game against a really good non-conference opponent and or conference opponent. This game means the world to us. I'm sure it means the world to Ohio State. So they're going to open their playbook and they're going to give us the wrinkles that they worked on in the offseason, and we got to be ready to match those when they come out. So I think that's the biggest difference in a game like this is you're going to see some things you aren't ready for, and you guys have to be able to adapt and adjust and play rules football and go play defense.
Are those norms kind of out the window considering this situation, or do you look at it like a regular first game?
Yeah, I think you look at it like like you're opening up against, whoever you want to say, you're opening up against an Alabama or a Clemson or somebody like that. That's the caliber of team we're playing. And when you get a team like that first, you got to be ready for some stuff. They're very good coaches. They have very good players. They're going to have a great game plan and great scheme ready for us. So we just got to be ready for whatever bullets come flying.
Thanks.
Wrap up Coach Chinander with Sam McEwen, Omaha World Herald.
Hey, Coach, thanks for doing this. Your 3 starters on the defensive line from last year are now on NFL rosters, all of them on NFL active rosters, which is cool. It leaves a hole, but it seems like, just based on some of your interviews prior to now, that you're pretty confident about your defensive line. I guess, what is the source of that confidence? Why do you feel like this group is going to be able to hold its own in the Big Ten despite losing 3 really good players?
Yeah, I think, first and foremost, Coach Tuiotti's done a great job with those guys, getting them ready to play, even when they were young, developing. And then you got guys like Ben Stilley, Damian Daniels, DeAndre Thomas. Those guys have played in a lot of game reps for us, and they've given us really good game reps. And they've continued to grow, and I've seen them get better and better and better from the time we started last year till today. So you have confidence in those guys, and then you have confidence in some young guys, like the Ty Robinsons of the world and Casey Rogers and, Keem Green and Jordan Riley and those types of guys that have, just accelerated their learning curve. So I feel really good about what they can do. Just like any other position, you're playing defensive line, especially in this conference. Ohio State's got a really good offensive line. They're going to come out and they got to hit somebody in the mouth right away, and they got to feel the tempo of this game and feel the violence of this game and feel the what they're about to go against, which I'm glad Coach Frost has got us a lot of good on good reps so we can go against our first team offensive line. So they're not out there just, like it's a scout team every day. But they've got to go out there and, put their face on somebody right away and feel what this thing's all about. But I feel very confident about that group.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Coach. We will have Coach Dawson here in just a moment.
All right, Bill.